After years in combat, Henry Parker wanted nothing but peace in his remote mountain cabin. But when the local HOA president trespassed, stole his space, and turned his sanctuary into her personal spa, he didn't get mad, he got creative. What started with a stolen sauna visit ended with viral humiliation, community revolt, and a lesson in boundaries she'd never forget. My name is Henry Parker. I spent 20 years overseas combat tours, sandstorms, foreign cities that never slept. When I finally came home, all I wanted was to hear the wind through pine trees. So I bought a cabin in the Colorado mountains, just far enough from the edge of town that silence still meant something. 5 acres, a cedar sauna I built with my own hands, solar lights that glowed amber at night. No fences, no drama. That's what I paid for. But peace, it turns out, has enemies. And mine arrived wearing pressed slacks, pearl earrings, and a clipboard. Ava Morgan was the president of the Pine Hollow HOA. Technically, her kingdom ended a quarter-mile downhill. My land sat outside the HOA boundary. But that didn't stop her from trying to claim it. People like Ava don't recognize boundaries. They see them as challenges. It started small. A laminated note tucked under a rock at the bottom of my driveway. Your solar lighting disrupts the natural look of the mountain. I ignored it. I figured maybe it was a misunderstanding. Then, I came home to find a landscaping crew on my property trimming the branches of a 200-year-old pine tree. Ava had hired them. When I asked what they were doing, the crew chief looked confused. Routine visibility improvement, he said. HOA orders. I explained where the HOA ended, showed him the property line. He apologized and left. A week later, I received a cease and desist letter from Ava herself. It accused me of visual obstruction and territorial defiance. The letter was riddled with typos. I framed it, but the final line she crossed came quietly until it didn't. It was late afternoon when my phone buzzed with a motion alert from the sauna security camera. I expected a raccoon or maybe a wandering elk. Instead, I saw Ava wrapped in a white towel, Bluetooth speaker in one hand and a bottle of rosé in the other, walking straight into my private cedar sauna like she owned it. She sat down, propped her feet up, and whispered into her phone. He'll never know. Wrong. I could have called the police, could have made a scene. But people like Ava thrive on confrontation. They twist it into control. So I called Darren. He's an old friend from the service. These days, he runs a wildlife control company and has a talent for solving problems that don't make it into manuals. Together, we installed a non-toxic but brutally effective skunk scent diffuser. Rigged to activate with heat, undetectable, perfectly legal. 2 days later, Ava returned. Same towel, same rosé, no invitation. The moment the stove hit temp, the diffuser kicked in. The air changed instantly, thick with an acrid, eye-watering musk that hits the brain like tear gas at a wedding. Ava's screams echoed down the valley. She stumbled out, gagging, red-faced. Mascara running, she slipped, caught herself on a stump, and bolted down the hill barefoot. My cameras caught everything from 3 angles. Clear, legal, undeniable. 20 minutes later, 2 squad cars pulled into my driveway. Ava was waiting in a neighbor's sedan, pointing and yelling about chemical attacks and military-grade traps. I met the officers with coffee and a flash drive. They watched the footage, reviewed the property lines. One of them even chuckled. "Ma'am," the officer said, turning to her. "You trespassed repeatedly. You broke into a structure." What exactly did you expect? Ava drove off in silence. But the silence didn't last long. The footage leaked. Someone, probably the neighbor with the sedan, uploaded a censored version to the Pine Hollow Facebook group. The title, Steam Room, Karen Live from the Rockies. It went viral. But more than that, it started something. Neighbors who had lived under Ava's rule for years, afraid to hang wind chimes or paint their porch swings, finally saw her for what she was: a bully in silk. Stories came flooding out. One woman had been fined for planting tulips that weren't seasonally compliant. A young couple had been reported for child noise. One man, an Army vet like me, was cited for using a smoker on the 4th of July. So I organized. A special HOA meeting was called. We gathered signatures. People showed up with printouts, photos, copies of fines. And I brought the video, uncensored. With timestamps, audio, the room was packed. Not just with outrage, but with something rarer: clarity. I didn't yell. I didn't insult. I just told the truth. Ava sat in the corner, red-faced, trying to disappear inside her scarf. The vote to remove her as president was unanimous. She tried to fight it, threatened lawsuits, but the board had seen enough. So had the neighborhood. Ray Alvarez was elected HOA president that night, a retired firefighter with more common sense than rules. By the following week, every single one of Ava's citations had been reviewed, and most were thrown out. Change came fast. Kids started playing outside again. Porch lights came back in every color. Holiday decorations reappeared. One house even strung tiki lights in February, just because they could. I stayed in my cabin, still quiet, still off-grid. But I began attending HOA meetings not out of duty, but because people asked me to. Because when you stand up once, sometimes others find the courage to stand with you. The sauna still stands. Darren and I rebuilt the bench Ava broke on her exit. We added a lock, but mostly, we left it as a symbol. Ava sold her home within a month. Quietly. No goodbye. No note. Her kingdom crumbled. And as I sat on my porch that final evening, watching the stars blink above the pines, I didn't feel victorious. I felt still, which is what I came here for in the first place. This wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming what was mine. Not just the sauna, not just the land, but peace. And I'll protect it, with silence, with truth, or if I have to, with a little skunk spray.